My name is Aussie Marcel, the most luscious locks on YouTube, and in today's video we're going to be looking at something a little different and a little unique. Dolce Gabbana's Intenso, a fragrance for men. Now, first things first, the packaging is very textured and it looks real classy. It reminds me of Paco Rabanne's packaging. It's sort of velvety, sort of feels like felt. It's very classy, very impressive, so I give it points for that. The bottle itself is also classy. Makes the fragrance look as though it's going to be real dark and mysterious, but it isn't. It's a little different than what you might expect. Also, here's the atomizer. Sprays nicely, not perfect, but it does spray nicely, nice and even. Now, if you look at the notes, this reads like a fragrance that's going to be darker than it is as well. I'll just pull up the notes for you. Lavender in the top, water, basil, marigold, geranium. In the mid, we've got tobacco, hay, clary sage, mopal accord, bran, and in the base, we've got sandalwood, cypress, musk, amber, and labdanum. Looking at this, the ones that stick out the absolute most to my nose are the lavender, the tobacco, the hay, and the cypress. It's not a particularly woody fragrance, it's not a particularly sweet fragrance. To my nose, it's very green, it's very herbaceous. It sort of reminds me of fresh herbs. So if you're somebody that likes more natural smelling fragrances, fragrances that smell herbaceous, this is going to appeal to you. Also, if you like lavender, this is going to appeal to you because it's a very lavender forward fragrance. Some people review it and they can detect a lot of tobacco. I get a touch of fresh tobacco, like, I'm not going to say pipe tobacco, but it is there. It's just not particularly strong to my nose. But for you, it might be there, you know, in full force. And if that's the case, that's awesome. But I went into this without knowing much about it, and it was a little disappointing at first. This is a very mature fragrance. I'm not anywhere near like 50 years old, so if that's you, absolutely check this one out, especially if you wear suits and, you know, you look dapper, you're that dapper sort of man. But if you're young, this is going to be a tough one to pull off. I guess I can try to pull it off, but ultimately it's a little too mature for my liking. Not that I like really youthful, sweet fragrances, but this one is just very mature, very classy, very dignified, very elegant. Those are the sorts of adjectives I would use to describe this one. Main accords: aromatic, fresh, spicy, herbal, green, lavender, tobacco, woody, sweet, aquatic, amber. It's funny that it says that it's an aquatic fragrance because it really isn't. The only way that I could ever detect any water in this is if it's to add to the sort of naturalistic and realistic approximations of the herbaceous notes and that sort of accord. So if that's how you wanted to interpret the water notes, then that's how they're there, to my nose at least. But to me, it's just like a green herbaceous fragrance. A touch earthy as well, I will say. Now, I like it, but I don't love it. I'd much rather wear Dolce Gabbana's The One, the Eau de Toilette, or the Eau de Parfum, or one of the flankers, as opposed to this. But if you are a fan of The One, but you want something classier, if you can find a fragrance classier than The One, but more mature, maybe you're an older gentleman, then this is definitely something that you should check out. And for that reason, I recommend it. But if you're on the younger side, you can probably skip this one. Anyways, have you ever worn Intenso before? If you have, let me know in the comments below. And until my next video, my name is Aussie Marcel, the most luscious locks on YouTube, and I'll catch you guys around.